All right, let's start with blocks. And remember to have your bolster. Hopefully you have that handy. Um, let's go directly on the blocks unless you're having some like back sensitivity too, um, to make it more of a little heart opener. So with this first block, this will be right in between your shoulder blades, so not anywhere near in the low back, right? And then your second block will be for your head, and you can play with that height. So it can be high, medium, or lower on its flat side. So just scooch back, make those adjustments. You want it right in between. So take your time getting there and setting yourself up. Okay, feet can be flat. You can knock your knees in, or you can lengthen out your legs. Make those adjustments as needed. Yeah, you could always just use your bolster for more of a gentle incline, or even just prop up your head higher so you're not so arched back. But let this be the beginning stretch for your chest to help open you up to all these new beginnings. Let's put the hands wherever it's comfortable. I'm gonna go palms faced up to help get the shoulders to open as well. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. 2 more. Breathe in through your nose. Let your heart lift. Exhale out of your mouth. 1 more time. Inhale. Exhale. Let your lips come together. Fully breathing in through your nose and out of your nose. If you feel like your energy has been beyond you, outside of you, and you've been grasping for things, grasping for time alone, I want you to start to take that big awareness that you have for your surroundings, your home, your energy, and imagine this huge giant orb taking over your room, the room that you're in. And imagine that orb getting smaller and smaller and smaller until it hovers just above your body, just above your mat. Like you're in a tiny snow globe that feels really warm, really cozy. Kind of in the same way that the baby inside of you feels. Acknowledge that this is time for you to connect to self as well as the babe. It's also just to connect to the now, to stay present. Take a deep breath in again. A big exhale out of your mouth, letting your hips stay heavy where they are. Take a deep inhale again. This time reach your arms all the way up over your shoulders, and then let your arms come back by your ears. Breathe out and open up your elbows wide into a big cactus. And then let the hands drift back down towards the floor. Again, inhale, reach long through your arms, long through your fingertips. Exhale, let your arms get heavy. Get those snaps and crackles out of your shoulders. 1 more time. Breathing in, reach high. Like you're grazing the top of your snow globe. Exhale and pull your elbows wide. And pause right there. Where you might feel a little extra stretch in your chest and shoulders, start to circle out your wrists, noticing what you feel there, maybe even in your fingers. Maybe you straighten out your elbows so your arms are out to the side and you can feel this opening all the way across the forearms, back into the hands. Take your time, bending your knees. Push into your head so you can slowly roll over onto your side. And you can use your arm as a pillow for a second. Maybe you can snake your arms around you and scooch those blocks out from behind you. Just let your spine neutralize in this side position for a second. Maybe you can curl and round yourself into a tight ball. Feel that gentle rounding. Breathe. Then use your upper hand to pick yourself up into a seat. Sit yourself up tall in your spine, cross-legged, or even on top of your shins if that feels good. Place your hands on top of your thighs. I want you to imagine there being a long stick behind you, as if you were a plant. This is that stick that you use to grow up even taller. Relax your shoulders away from your ears, soften around your jaw. Gather your breath in again through your nose. Close your eyes. I want you to connect to your deep, deep core layer. First, maybe it helps to acknowledge what you're even sitting on. So I want you to imagine those sits bones underneath you. They're nice and strong, right? A little wide. Even as you grow and even as you breathe, you might imagine them widening out and coming back in together as you exhale. Maybe you can imagine your pelvis, right? The sides of your pelvis. These are called the ilium because they kind of are like ears. Okay, so imagine they're like at the sides of you. You can kind of see them on my shirt, but every time you breathe in, they flare open. Maybe every time you breathe out, they come in a little tighter together, just to hug you in. Put your hands on your belly if that helps. Breathe in all the way into your hands. Fill up your chest too. Exhale, let everything gather right at your center. Hug your baby towards your spine. Again, breathe in, feel yourself expand. Let your lower ribs expand. Exhale, let everything come back together. One more time, breathe in. Exhale. And you're going to keep doing the same. We're going to layer on with pelvic floor. So breathe in, let your pelvic floor drift down towards the floor below you. And then exhale, just notice a slight coming up of it. You don't have to squeeze really hard. It's just an acknowledgement of it breathing in and lowering. Exhale and let it gently pull up as your belly button comes in. 2 more times like that. Inhale. Exhale, squeeze together. Baby's getting hugged from the bottom as well. Last one. Now imagine you having this strong center. It keeps you pulled in towards the essence of you, right? Which is at your solar plexus, which is right above your belly button or at your belly button. I just want you to imagine the color yellow. Imagine that conscious awareness of self, that inner power within you, not just as a parent, but as a person. And as you breathe, the yellow gets a little bit bigger and bigger and bigger until it fills up your entire snow globe. You're just buzzing in this golden light. And take your arms down to your sides. You can crisscross your ankles the other way so your legs and hips get a different sensation. Breathe in and reach your arms all the way up to the ceiling. Exhale and twist gently to the right or to the left. Either way. I went to the left and said right. So take a deep breath in, sit up taller. Breathe out and let your gaze go over your shoulder. Look towards your back. Stay for another inhale. And another exhale. Inhale, come back to center, reach high to the sky, like you're moving through honey actually. Maybe your golden light is actually honey. Exhale and twist the opposite way. Use your leg as a little grip. My hand behind me is just on the ground, or you can keep it at your low back if that feels supportive. Breathe in, breathe out, and look over your shoulder again. One more time. Inhale and reach for the sky. Come back to neutral. Then exhale and just let your hands come forward and let yourself round into your spine. Even if you don't fold forward because your belly's in the way, I want you to imagine you're pushing into your back and rounding out through that upper space, and let your chin fall down towards your chest. Breathe into that space for one more. Go ahead and look up, take a long spine. You can shift your feet out from underneath you and go over to the side and meet me in a tabletop. You can have your blocks handy at the top of your space. All right, a nice strong tabletop. I want you to push down through your fingers, spread your fingers open really wide with your shoulders over your wrists. Keep your left knee underneath you and straighten out your right leg behind you. Tuck your toes under and give yourself a little push. Forward and back, opening up into your calf, your ankle, your heel. If it feels good for you, you can always tuck your left toes under and lift up your left knee to get a little more of a stretch. Like hug baby up, pushing and getting some strength in your shoulders. You can shift in and out of that. Take one more. And then keep your right leg long. Push down firmly into your hands. Take a little float of your leg. So I want you to think about lifting up through your inner thigh, keeping your toes. You can look underneath you. Keep your toes underneath your heels, pointing down towards the floor. Find a little balance here. Maybe you lift up your heel a little higher, up to hip height. Notice if your back is starting to collapse a little bit. Can you gather your tailbone underneath you, hug your belly up, keep using that strong core. Take a breath in and a breath out. Pull your knee out wide towards the side. Maybe you get a little tap. You should feel a little bit of oblique, a little bit of outer hip. Inhale and lengthen your heel back behind you. Exhale and pull it wide, like you're doing a little frog leg. Inhale, kick back. Exhale, take your frog leg. Inhale, kick back. One more frog leg. Inhale, lengthen all the way back behind you. Imagine like you're walking on the wall over there behind you. Keep planting down through your right hand. Take your left fingertips and walk them forward. You can keep them on the floor if that feels like a good enough balance for you. Otherwise, you can lift your hand off the floor and find this little bird dog. Okay, I want you to imagine the connection from your right hand to your left knee. You're reaching for all sides of your snow globe. Just breathe, feeling the right shoulder start to work for you as well as your outer left hip. Keep your neck long, shoulders down your back. One more breath. And exhale and let everything go. Left hand down, right toes down. I want you just to push your hips over to the left, just to breathe and feel into that left hip. So we're just pushing and swaying over. You might get a little sensation on that outer glute. And then coming back to neutral, pull your right knee in and do a sway over to the right. Okay, come back to neutral. Knees underneath you. This time, lengthen your left leg behind you. Keep your toes tucked under and start to just work into the back of your leg, pushing into your hands. If it feels right, you can tuck the right toes under, push through the fingers again, lift up your right knee, hike up your hips, sink your left heel down. Keep transferring back and forth. Or you can hold it if that feels good. Moving with your breath, playing with different shapes. Let's do one more. And lean back in that lengthened out tabletop three-legged. Okay, lift up your left leg now. Remember, inner thigh lifts instead of letting your toes square open to the side. We're going to keep them facing down so that our hips can stay down and square. So notice if your low back is already starting to dip, can you get a little length there? The leg doesn't have to even be that high, right? It can stay lower than hip height if needed. Take your breath in, activate, pull your toes up. Exhale, pull your knee wide. Do a little frog leg. Inhale, lengthen back behind you. Exhale, pull it up and in. Two more, breathe in. Exhale, pull it wide. Inhale, find some length. Exhale, pull wide again. And inhale, and lengthen out your leg. Keep it going strong. Take your right fingertips, crawl them forward, and keep the length. Or again, you can play with floating, right? Finding that balance. With the right toes tucked under, it feels a little bit more stable. You can play with keeping your toes flat or tucked. But I want you to feel this length. Reach all the way from your right fingertips to your left heel, and then feel this little connection in your underside, right? For your left hand to your right knee. Take one more breath in. And exhale and let your right hand come down, left toes come down, and just push your hips over to the right to get into that outer glute space. So that's all of the stabilizing muscles that keep your hips together so that you're able to walk and do all the things. Then bring your left knee in. Go ahead and push your left hip out to the side again. Just one time. Maybe go a little times or little ways, both directions. Okay, let's tuck the toes under. You can walk your hands back, keep them tucked under, get a little stretch for your feet. Okay, if this feels like, whoa, crazy, let's take a block and put it underneath in between your ankles, and then you can have a sit. And just breathe into the soles of your feet, and let's just understand, right, that all connects to the backside of your body. So if you have any pain down here, notice if anything actually transfers all the way down to the soles of your feet. And gently take your chin down towards your chest and do a little rock. Take your right ear over to the right, breathe into the top of your neck. Your hands can stay on your thighs, or you can start to actively reach them down or reach them out and away. It's kind of a different sensation. Then bring your chin down towards your chest, roll it over, left ear to left shoulder. Open up through the top of your right shoulder. These muscles, I like to call them just mom muscles or parent muscles, really. That's where everyone, not everyone, a lot of people hold their stress here. So notice what comes up for you when you acknowledge this space. Then bring your chin back to the middle, down, so your head is bowed forward. You can give yourself a tiny bit of overpressure if that feels good for your upper back. Maybe you can feel it slipping down in between your shoulder blades. You can take even more of a rounding again, but this time it's with overpressure. Be gentle to yourself. Take one more. If your feet are on fire, you can release that grip, shift forward, take the block out, give yourself a little slap for your feet. That felt like totally okay. You're good to go. Let's come all the way up onto our knees. So we'll flatten out the feet so you can feel that length across your ankles. And I want you to take your hands to your hips. Watch your tailbone, and remember as your belly grows, right, it'll pull your weight forward, so it'll let your booty stick out a little bit, but see if you can guide it underneath you to help you stay open through your hips, right? Take your arms out in front of you. Big breath in right here. Exhale and just sit back as you reach your arms back and pause right there. This is like a modified chair pose, right? You'll feel your quads for sure, but see if you can find a little glute sensation in the butt. Right? Imagine everything kind of pulling together, giving you support for your pelvis, and your core, like we did before, is pulling in to help your baby stay close to your spine. Then breathe in again, come back up through the hips, lengthen up through the front, arms forward. Exhale, swing your arms back, pause right there. This time, you're doing everything before and also adding your triceps. Give them a big squeeze with your palms face down. Inhale, rise back up. Maybe this time, reach all the way up. Exhale, swing it all the way back. Squeeze your shoulder blades together this time. Inhale, rise. Exhale, sink back. Like your butt's about to touch your heels. Inhale again, high through the hips, high through the arms. Exhale, swing it back. We'll try one more time. Inhale. And exhale. Now inhale, come all the way up, circle your arms wide, grab at your hips. You're gonna shift your weight over so that you can stick your right foot in front. Yes, nice job with the balance. Okay, with your hands there at your hips, I want you to feel, right? Is your right hip tucked up? Can you guide it a little under? And find a little stability here. Just push your hips forward an inch and then back an inch. We're just going nice and easy here. Leading with your pubic bone rather than your belly. And just be really gentle with around ligament pain if you're feeling any of that sensation across the front of that hip, your left hip. And when you have that stability, you're imagining your right foot gluing down, heel is driving down into the earth, you're pulling back on the hips and everything is engaged underneath here for you. Then take your reach again overhead. And this time, bend your left elbow like you're about to scratch the top of your back and grab it with your right hand. Breathe big. You've got this balance. One more. And inhale to reach the arms back up towards the sky. Exhale to reach forward for your blocks and straighten out your front leg. Let's pull the toes up. Take a little lift in your chest as you breathe in. When you breathe out, take yourself down. And I want you to play with this. So play with lowering your head. And you can just move through your ankle, lowering your toes down towards the floor and then pulling them back up. Maybe even just if your kneecap stays still, right? So your entire hip and leg isn't moving, it's literally just your ankle. Notice if any of those sensations travel down into your ankle on the top of your foot or your outer calf. It looks like that. So instead of windshield wipering the entire leg, you're literally just driving all of this stuff by moving your ankle. You could also just practice writing your name with your foot, just exploring different movements here. And then when you're ready, let's bend back into the right knee, plant your foot down, use your blocks. Let's take them to the highest height. Really power through your arms, lift up your left knee. Let's step your foot in. And when you look down, I want you to have a nice wide stance. So it's not that your feet are in that tightrope space. You're a little bit wider so you have room for your hips. Okay. And keeping your legs nice and strong. Add a soft bend to your right knee and take your hands to your hips. Come all the way up to stand. Okay. Now aim your pelvis and your back toes to the long side of your mat. Same with your chest. But your right toes will still face forward. Take your arms out to the side. Find a big deep breath in. Lift up your heart. Exhale and reach yourself forward, feeling the length of your left obliques. Then exhale, tip yourself down and grab your block. Put it underneath your shin. You can reach your left hand all the way up towards the sky. Give your legs a little squeeze. Keep planting through that bottom arm. Imagine your tailbone working its way towards your left heel. Stack your left shoulder over your right. Activate your quads. One more breath in. On your breath out, let yourself reach all the way up, so your arms by your ear. Let your shoulder dip down, so your chest is dipping down. And then when you breathe in again, you're just circling your arm all the way around, like you're swimming through some honey again. Your snow looks a little bigger this time. Exhale, let the hands circle down underneath you. Same with your shoulder. Breathe in, open up again. Exhale, round. Let's do two more. Breathe in, open up. You can move your hips with it any way you like. Exhale down. Breathe in and find your big reach. Stay for your exhale. Bend into your right knee. Inhale, come all the way up into a little modified warrior two. You can find a big lengthening in your legs if you want. And solidify in this strength. Remember all the energy that you had outside of you. Now you're hugging in towards your center, towards that solar plexus space at your baby. Bending into your right knee, notice that inner thigh opening up wide while you squeeze your left leg. Keep your arms strong and tight, or if you want to just connect to yourself, connect to your belly and what's happening in there. Take your deeper dive into your right leg. Let your glutes squeeze. Follow your breath. And then deep breath in. Reach your arms all the way up towards the sky. Straighten out your legs. And exhale, point both toes towards the long end of your mat. Exhale, take a dive down into your forward fold. So your heart doesn't have to be below your belly, or your head doesn't have to be below your heart even. So just using your blocks can be helpful. And the wider you go, the more you'll feel on your inner thighs. The more you push back into your heels and let your whole torso come forward, the more you'll feel it in the backs of your legs and hips. Stay for one more breath. And then breathe in, find some length in your spine. When you breathe out, shift your feet closer together, lower all the way back down onto your knees. Scoot your blocks out of the way. Then find that tall kneeling position again. You can go toes untucked or toes tucked. Bring your hands to your hips again. Do a roll of your shoulders. Inhale up towards your ears. Exhale, relax them back. You're strong, you're safe, you're connected. Let's shift your weight over to your right and put your left foot in front. Remember, tailbone going down. Go gentle to start, finding your balance too. Pushing into your hips, leading with the pubic bone. Noticing if this knee is bothersome or even that knee is bothersome. Add any squishiness that you need to, right? Then settle into your hips when you feel balanced and even as you can in your hips. Take your arms all the way up overhead. Give your triceps a big squeeze. Hands energized too. Then bend at the right elbow. Grab your right elbow with your left hand. And just take a breath in as you reach down your back. Let your head push into your arms. Tell your left big toe to stay glued down. Tell your toes to stay open and grounded as well. Keep your breath going. Good, and breathe in, reach high. Exhale, find your blocks. Shift your hips back. Straighten out your left leg this time. Pull your toes up. Breathe in, find a long spine. Exhale, melt. And stay right here in this little stretch. You can open up through the ankle by pointing your toes down, pulling them up, working your ankle or your foot from side to side. It's like the movement as if you were going to sprain it, you know, when you would fall on your outer foot. But sometimes that adds a nice stretch when you're not stepping on it. So notice what you feel there. One more. Breathe in, lift up your chest. Breathe out, bend into your left knee. Find a little strength through your arms. I like stacking up to the highest blocks. Tuck your right toes under, lift your right knee. Let's step it in. So your legs aren't super far apart, right? They're about a leg or torso length distance away from each other with that back foot flaring open and out. Okay. Bend into your left knee. Take your hands to your hips. Come all the way up. Okay. Just to feel all of that. Let's open up the hips actually to the side. Maybe your legs are actually in alignment. Okay. Take a big opening of your arms at the horizon. Breathe in. Find some length all the way through your fingertips and your legs. Exhale and just shift your hips back. So as if you're sliding across the wall behind you. And breathe out. And come all the way into this little triangle pose. So you're wanting to feel this stack of your right ribs over your left. And then just as much as you're breathing into your right waist, I want you to breathe into your left waist too. Anchor down into your outer right foot. And try to sneak your left butt like underneath you. Tailbone towards your right heel. Take a breath in. And a breath out, circle your arm all the way up towards your face. Exhale and rotate your chest back to the ground, fingertips towards the ground. Inhale, open yourself back up. Take that big stacking. Exhale and let yourself collapse in. Inhale, back up towards the sky. Exhale, curl it in. Two more, breathe in, reach up. Exhale, curl in. Last one, inhale. Exhale. Inhale and reach up. Take a little bend into your left knee. And use your core, right? Power up through your right side. Come all the way up, shoulders over hips. Maybe you play with the lengthening out of your legs, right? Diving a little deeper into the strength of your hips, the strength of your pelvis. Right? Your thigh doesn't have to be completely parallel to the ground to feel its strength. You can place your hands all the way across your back, your hips, your belly. Or you can open up your arms again, like you're reaching for the ends of your snow globe once more. Channel your breath. And just as much as you're reaching out, right, you're pulling everything in towards your center of self. Grounded in the only thing that matters, love. Take a breath in, straighten out your left leg, reach high to the sky, point your toes towards the long end of your mat. Exhale and go slow, go slow, go slow as you hinge forward. Right? The slower you go, the more muscles you use. Hands can come to the floor or to your blocks. You can play with this one too, right? It doesn't have to look still or be still. You can put your toes out, bend into one knee at a time if you're looking for a little extra movement. So while your feet are wide, take a breath in, just pick up your chest, push down into your blocks. Do a heel toe, heel toe, heel toe until your feet are underneath your hips or your shoulders. Then stack your blocks underneath your face, bring them together underneath your face. Put your left hand down on your blocks. Bend your left knee, take your right hand to your low back, and open up into a gentle twist to your right. You can slip your right hand all the way across your back and look for your left thigh. One more. Exhale, fold yourself down. Bend into your right knee. Take your right hand to your middle of your block, left hand to your low back. Breathe in, find a little length on the left side. Exhale and twist to the left. Keeping your gaze forward, or if it feels okay in your neck, looking up is okay. Find the half bind. Just a few more breaths. And then relax that hand down. Come back to neutral spine. So you're basically in your forward fold. And just take your blocks with you and shift so that you're facing the short end of your mat towards the top. And then bend your knees, lower down. A little sway if you need to of your hips. And just take your time, crossing your ankle, shifting your feet around, finding a seat. Okay, you can sit on anything, on a block or your bolster. Pop yourself up. One more little back body stretch. Keep your toes pulled up. They can be wide if you need to. Inhale, hands high. Exhale, take a dive all the way down. Wherever your hands land, let yourself be there until you break through anything with your breath. And take a breath in, ragdoll yourself up. Take a shift off your block. I take a shift forward. Take that block out. Set yourself up, either on your back or all the way on your side if that's comfortable. Sticking your blocks to touch, or the modified Egyptian pillow with the bolster. You scoot your hips all the way back towards your bolster. Take a recline all the way back. And while you're here, walk your feet in, nice and close as you can go. Starting with the right foot, cross it over. And see if you can just gently grab onto your shin and hug it up towards your chest. Okay, you can even just try pushing your knee away. Maybe you feel that in your glute. Maybe this is just a little relaxing spot for you to kick back and notice your feet. Give them some attention and love, or you can just pay attention to what's happening in your right hip as you guide your shin parallel to the top end of your mat. And gently release that. You can try the other side. Left leg up and over. So the further away your shin is, you'll still feel something if your knee dives down and is in the same kind of plane as your ankle. Otherwise, picking up your ankle a little higher and closer to you might feel like more of a stretch. But you can also just make this about connecting to the soles of your feet. What carries you through this world? Just even grabbing at your feet or massaging your ankles can feel really nice. Really grounding. Then release that ankle. Take the soles of your feet together, knees apart. If you have any extra blocks that you might need, you can always stick them underneath your thighs. Or find a little belt or even rolled up blankets to help support your hips. You can put a hand to your heart, a hand to your belly, or any mix match of anything to help keep you here, keep you embodied, feeling what you feel. Take 3 big breaths here. Slowly begin to lengthen your legs out. Relax your arms by your sides. We'll just take a few minutes here to let the earth hold us in our tiny, warm snow globe of honey. Letting the sweetness of our practice fill us up. I'll call you out when it's time. Slowly bring your awareness back to your breath. Take a big one. Start to expand and contract your hands, your feet. Sweep your arms long over your head and back to your belly. Just acknowledge this center filled space with love, this tiny snow globe that you support. Slowly bend your knees, roll over. And then you can stay rolled over on your side if you're comfortable there, or push yourself all the way up right away. Finding a tall seat. One more time, holding on to your snow globe. And bringing your hands to your heart. Bend away. Bow in towards that inner light that glows within you. That you get to share with that little one growing inside of you. Fill yourself up with gratitude as you breathe in. Exhale as you give it away. Thank you so much for showing up tonight. From my heart to yours, namaste.